So when people make the argument that, you know, like
better things to do.
I heard on a Michael Savage clip one time that this guy that called in, he was trying to be like, oh, how many kids have died from Tylenol or Monsanto? So when you hear those reports, it's not always accurate. Like when they try to blame
No,
Big Pharma.
you don't know. I mean, people can say, "Well, I heard this report or that report." Well, that's nice. It doesn't. Right. It's not like you have a hard series of statistics. For example, I'll talk about the sodomites. I talk about serial killers. I'm not making that up. You can look at a list of American serial killers and you can count the percentage if you want to. I mean, you want to talk about disease, you can go to the CDC and read studies that have controls done on them, explaining methodologies and why we did this and that say this and that. You have people just saying, random things. Well, why not do this or that? It doesn't per se mean anything. What exactly does that mean? You have if you don't have something that's controlled and well documented, you have problems. I can tell you one thing that's well documented with marijuana use, long-term marijuana use, is the long-term loss of one's short-term memory, and sometimes long-term memory. That's a known fact. People who do it for a long time, prolonged periods, can experience permanent short-term memory loss, and in some cases permanent long-term memory loss. You can become an Alzheimer's patient at a young age. I've seen the effects of this from people who've done this for many years. I'm aware of it. I've seen it in action. So I mean, that is a documented scientific fact. We know that. We know that for a fact. And among the folks who truly use it, truly are using it for a true medical purpose, you don't see that. Why? Because they're not using it for a recreational drug. It's the same with the people who use meth who get meth from a doctor for a legitimate medical condition. You don't see them start tweaking out in the middle of a store and pulling their clothes off and walking around with their eyes bulged open and losing all the weight on their body.
Yeah.
But you see someone who's using street meth or cooking it in their house, well, yeah, you're going to see it because they should be on it.
No, it all contains crap that you literally find.
They shouldn't be on it. I mean, it's not being it's. I totally missed what you said, man. I'm sorry.
I just said this crap that these the ones that are cooking it, it contains crap that you literally find in the cabinet under your kitchen sink.
Oh yeah, there's all that kind of sodium hydroxide and all that good stuff. Even all that good stuff. I mean, it's drain cleaner. I mean, even talk about the opioid crisis. What is a lot of this opium? I mean, the opioid crisis is another issue unto itself because a lot of that, there's good evidence to suggest it's being subsidized by the government as a way of social policy. But with the opioid crisis, I mean, you don't know what you're getting. I mean, there's a difference when the doctor gives you a shot of morphine to help you because you're in serious pain or you have certain pills that you're given because you really hurt and you need it. I'm not talking about oxycodone because oxycodone is a scam. I'm talking about codeine and morphine specifically because those are legitimate pills that have legitimate uses. You get these from a source that is prescribe them to you versus saying, hey, I'm going to snort this stuff and see what happens. I mean, the doctor one, you're probably going to be all right. You snorting stuff, you sure you know what's in that?
Exactly.
I mean, people talk about wet like marijuana that's dipped in embalming fluid. That stuff is basically the same as what they call in Russia, what they call crocodile, which is where they take codeine and they melt it down with xylene and they smoke it or snort it. And it's xylene paint thinner, and or they'll inject it, and it's so corrosive it actually causes your skin to rot away, so you look like a crocodile. Like if you snort it, it'll rot your nose off. You can look at pictures in Russia. It's a big problem in the city of Murmansk, which is in the north near Finland. It's a huge problem. It makes you it tends to take the vitamins from your heart and jam them into your heart, so it has a meth-like effect in that it causes you to lose muscle and weight. So you literally look like a zombie, like a zombie. Very big problem in Russia.
Who wants to live like that?
I mean, Well, like I said, what do you have? You have a philosophy crisis. You have people who have no purpose, no meaning. They don't believe in God. They don't care. They don't want to do anything to change themselves, and they'll just want to feel good. Now, everyone wants to feel good. That's a normal and good feeling, but you're feeling good at your own expense. You're committing suicide, is what you are. And it shows in your physical actions. It's leading to it's causing a spiritual death, and it's also showing a physical death. So that's what you see with it. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing that happen, and we don't want to. We want to say, well, it's just an illness. Well, it's not just an illness; it's a choice, and it comes from this issue, and it's most likely not going to get dealt with because there's a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
Money in so-called treatment programs. There's a lot of money. It's very useful for politicians for social manipulation.
Legendary quarterback at Notre Dame.
I believe this to a lot of.
Joe Montana, he's now investing in it.
Yeah.
He's investing in pot.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe it because there's gonna be a huge amount of money in it. I mean, there's gonna be a huge amount of money in marijuana. It's an up and coming thing. Make no mistake. You want to know what the future is for making money? Marijuana, because alcohol will still have money, always will. But pot's gonna be a really big one. Pot is going to be huge. So
yeah,
that's just the way the trends are moving because we're moving toward more isolation. Less people are talking to each other, and
yeah, I mean,
hold on just 1 second here.
That's all right. Yeah, do what you got to do. And that's all I can do. Any of you who are watching this while Andrew's taking a break, just stay off the pot. Stay off the pot, guys. It's not. Is that any of these drugs worth it? I'm addressing my audience. I'm addressing my audience. I mean, that's what I've always tried to stress to you guys. Don't do any kind of drug. Don't do pot. It's a waste of time, and plus, it's not going to lead to anything good. I mean, I don't know how I can explain any further to you guys. So, just a quick moment to address my audience.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, exactly. Which I gotta admit, some of them back in the day were pretty. They were serious, but they were funny.
Yeah.
Like kind of like when they had Michael Jordan do one back in the day.
You do have good things, but like, oh yeah. Well, it's like, you have, what is it? I said you have so many of these different, issues and currents that are moving in society. I mean, that is going to be another one to watch for. Human beings have always, used things like this, and it's always been an issue. The question is to what extent and what are the particular things that are going to be used for it. I'll tell you another thing that I'm very interested in watching is the use of psychedelics, because I am seeing a possible trend for increased use of psychedelics. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It is possible. So I would keep my eye on that as well.
Are you talking like LSD type stuff?
Yes. Yep. LSD, magic mushrooms.
Yeah, you started to mention those earlier.
Also other kinds of, like you said, ayahuasca type stuff, because we're looking toward a re-embrace of paganism. Paganism is the real big issue in this country that's coming up to the front. And what does paganism use? It uses drugs to try to connect to the transcendent, as they believe. Now, obviously, this is false. You don't need drugs to find Jesus. You don't need that. But this is very common of pagans. Weed is really a gateway to pushing for this. Watch for things like ayahuasca. There's a few other ones that they use. I can't think of the name offhand, but they're going to be something to watch for.
I believe it. I mean, at this point in our society, I don't really think anything's really off limits, to be honest with you. Did you catch any of that, or did I?
Oh, I didn't catch what you said. No, sorry.
No, that's okay. I just said that it doesn't surprise me because where our society is at right now, it seems like nothing is off limits. There's always going to be someone that takes that
No.
next step to go further down the dark path or the dark road.
Well, the question is the shifting of the Overton window, as they call it. You know, people talk about the Overton window, which is the window of acceptable behavior in a society. Where is that window at right now? I mean, there's always been a window, you know, good and bad, however you want to call it. The question is, how do we move it? And it moves really by Hegelian dialectic. You know, the idea that you have a thesis and an antithesis. And one person proposes A, person B proposes the opposite. The two come together, they form a thesis or a resolution. Now, person A takes that resolution, accepts it, and then person B proposes the antithesis of that new thesis. And then they come together again, they compromise, take the compromise, wash, rinse, repeat. This is how the window shifts. It shifts by repeated compromise. So the question is, where will these compromises shift, for good or for bad, in a society, in this case our society? And I see it shifting more toward this embrace of paganism. Because again, you're seeing a move toward paganism, you're seeing a move toward marijuana. Is it really about marijuana, or is it about psychedelics to get people to try to connect to the other side? You know, people will laugh and talk about the craziness of some of these African tribes that will get high on drugs and do crazy stuff, you know, cutting chicken blood open, blah, 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 all that stuff. Well, we shouldn't be laughing at these people because they're just doing in the open the same things that I am warning about right now that could happen in society, that do happen in secret, but that might become popular. It's very possible. Am I saying people are going to run and start cutting chickens' heads off and pouring blood out, you know, in a circle? No, I'm not saying that will happen. What I'm saying is, though, it's the concept of the same idea of the man who does that in his hut that might be moved, changing the context, but not the essence of his actions.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering about. And it very much could happen. It very well could happen. Like I said, ayahuasca is, there are huge retreats that people go on. These are all white people from the suburbs and from the cities.
Yeah, to get a taste of culture, as they would probably put it.
Get a taste of, connect to the gods, you know, connect to a higher power. And a lot of these people are non-religious, or, you know, non-religious or questionably religious. Non-religion is increased, but a belief in spirituality still persists because man is a religious being. Man is meant for worship. Now, you know, you have all these Christians who'll come out and they'll say, well, man, you know, there's religion and then there's relationship. That's a bunch of garbage. Because, you know, religion, what is religion? Religion is the way that God wants to be worshipped. Okay? Religion is form and matter. It's the way God wants to be worshipped. Either he wants to be worshipped a certain way or not. You know, either he wants you to bow 5 times a day to Mecca or he doesn't. Either he wants you to go to, you know, to Mass and receive the Eucharist or he doesn't. Either he wants you to go smoke a pipe and dance around a circle or he doesn't. The yes or no answer. It's very simple. That is what religion is about. It's about finding what God wants, how he wants to be worshipped. So anyone who talks about, you know, especially these Christians who are the worst promoters of it, these Protestant Christians, the evangelical Protestants, I should say, will come out and say, we don't need a, you know, we just need a relationship. That's meaningless because you're denying form and matter while claiming to have it. And people will just leave that and they'll go looking for form and matter because man knows that the series of rules that is meant to follow. Just who are they? And then you see, you know, he's involved in paganism or something like.
Yeah, no, I've seen this happen plenty of times. Oh, yeah, you just need to have your own relationship with him. God doesn't want you to take action. The hell he doesn't. It's like I told Ted.
Yeah, God wants you to sit around and worship songs all day long.
Yeah, it's like I told Ted in our interview, and I told you this before, but I have a few family members that are in the United Methodist Church, and that's the same philosophy that they have. It's like, just love Christ, love everybody, don't try to combat or fight evil. Let's just get together and sing the worship songs and sing Kumbaya and all that. It might as well be the Jonestown cult. Uh-oh. Andrew, there's no volume.
Sorry about that. You said it's sort of like that song from the '60s where it's like, "Come on now, smile with your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now." In the '60s.
Yeah, just so you know, there was a part in there where you were just talking that it didn't pick up the audio for whatever reason. So I want you to know that. But I think he just made the point in that one sentence alone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what it was about. I mean, you have here. Like I said, yeah, you want to love people no matter where they are. Okay, that's a good and healthy thing. But you can't sit around here and just say and be silent in the face of really manifest evils. I mean, you can't deal with that. You can't tolerate that. You're not supposed to because, what was one of the most famous things that Muhammad of Islam said? Sukutiha ikhtiyariha. Her silence is her consent. Okay, when speaking about going to, have sex with not with 9-year-old Aisha. That's what he said. Well, he has a point, though. His point is correct. Silence is consent. Silence in the face of a serious question or evil is usually consent to it. Usually it's consent to it. So we have the ability to know what's right and wrong better before than ever in history. We have the ability to do what's right and to make positive changes. The question is, will you? And you have the chance to accelerate it, too. I've talked about this. When people talk about the rise of evil around you, what's a good way to combat it? Well, on your phone, your internet, you can go, you're Catholic. If you're Catholic, you can go to adoration. You can go to Mass. You can watch the Mass on your phone. You can listen to, like, Gregorian chants on your phone. You can focus your mind in the right way anytime you want. The power is right here. The question is, are you going to watch that? Or are you going to watch, like, Pornhub or something? That's the answer. You have the choice to fix problems that would have been hard to fix for a lot of people for years. Are you going to avail yourself of it, or are you going to sit around and say, well, I got to play Fortnite here, and then I want to go watch that, video I saw on 4chan? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is definitely something that a lot of my viewers here could definitely take note of. That stuff not just my viewers, but all of us, we need to think about that stuff. Think about, what's going to be more impactful for society. Is it going to be that, playing some game and jerking off on your phone? Or could you actually use that technology to try to make things better, at least make the attempt to make things better?
Make the attempt and to continually work at it. They said that is such an important issue. We say there's never enough time, and it's true, there isn't. Time is very limited, and there are a lot of nuances that fit in. I totally get it. Going to work going to work isn't just going to work. People say, well, 8 hours a day at your workplace, that's a bunch of crap because you got to get to work, you got to put your pants on, you got to take a shower, you got to come home and decompress. If you're working an 8-hour day, you are at least working 10 hours a day. And if you're working 10 hours a day, you're working at least 12, and 12 or 14. So, I understand about the limited nature of time, but the thing is, as your position in life, you have to try to find a way to take away excuses from yourself and to leverage that as much as you can. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching here to people like, well, you have to do this. It's far from that. It's that we live in an awesome time in history. We live in an amazing time. Truly, we do. And that we have to avail ourselves of what we have while we still have it. Some people will be able to do it more than others, but the people who have the ability to do it more than others are also held to a higher degree of moral complicity. I look at this with myself. I work my job, with Shubat.com and trend research. I'm a very blessed person with what I have, but I take my work very seriously because I have a moral duty to make the most of my time in the most of my work, and I work very hard at that. At least I try to, I believe I do, and I continually try to find ways to improve myself that way, to do more with less. I mean, it all depends on life situation and circumstances, but it's not an excuse for laziness or foolishness.
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, we're only on this planet for a short amount of time, and we were made to do good, not evil.
Yeah, and exactly, we have to do it, and we have to work as hard as we can. I mean, like I said, I truly believe, Ted and I, it's our opinion that that within the next 10 years, there is a very high chance of a major global war. It probably won't happen until the latter part of that. We are thinking more like 10 years from now. It could be less, but we tend to think it's more along that way, like 10 years down the road. But the conditions are setting up for it. The conditions are setting up. The economy, like I said, the economic conditions are very similar. And again, you don't have to believe me. You can read my articles on shoebat.com. Your listeners can, that is. Or
Yeah.
you can read the data yourself because it's publicly available. I don't have secret sources that I pretend to have. I don't pretend to have my secret friend that you got friends that give me information.
Right.
If you pay me $199.99 a month, I'll tell you about it. No, I read the data and I go through it. Yeah, I've gone through the data for the early 2000s, the late 90s. Before that, the pattern of a crash that happened back then seems to be repeating today. And I don't see any serious way to mitigate that. We're in what's called a dead cat bounce situation, which is where the economy, you'll see, in other words, the idea is that if you were to throw even a dead cat hard enough, it would bounce a little bit before it stopped, but each bounce gets smaller. So in terms of an economy that's dead or stagnated, you will see small periods of prosperity that continually get smaller. So it gives the appearance that a change is for the better is happening, but it's not. We had a boom in the 90s, then we had went down, then you had the 2000s, good, 2007 crash, went down. We're seeing another bounce up right now, but eventually it's going to crash. It's crashing in the same pattern as it was in the early 2000s. And when it does crash, it's going to knock out any of the so-called gains that were made, and it's going to take some more out with it. You're going to find more people unemployed with less means to support themselves, fewer jobs available. The jobs that will be there will be lower pay, stagnant wages, and less hope than would already exist. It's a formula for continued social disaster. This problem existed in Appalachia for a long time. It's spreading throughout the whole country now. With the poor whites, some of the poor blacks and poor Melungeons, the Appalachia experience is being replicated now throughout the whole.
It sounds just like one really bad revolving door. It's like a very.
It is one bad revolving door. It's not going anywhere.
Dangerous.
I mean, like I said, there are people who can be. Yeah. Exactly. It's very dangerous, and people got to get through their heads certain ideas. You got to get through your head this idea of the prosperity of the 80s and 90s that people were used to, and even before that, 60s and 50s. That's gone. It is gone. Stop thinking that was a land that was long past. That was a time that was long past. There were reasons why that came about. Those reasons don't exist anymore. I'm not saying it won't come back again. But what I'm saying is, people got to stop reminiscing about what was and deal with what is, so that you can put yourself in the best position for what will be. It's very popular right now. For example, a lot of people like to eat out. They don't like to cook dinner anymore. Well, it's growing. On the other hand, price of food continues to go up. But most people don't have gardens. Your grandparents or great-grandparents probably had a victory garden. Were they master gardeners growing all their own food? Absolutely not. But they understood something of the concept of taking care of themselves. That's what I'm talking about here. It's a change of philosophy and aiming for that needs to happen among the individual people. I'm not saying that we're going to have a revolution and change society. I'm saying change yourself, because the craziness is going to come. The clownishness There's an article that was put out. It was called it was called Piss Earth 2025, and it said if we live in clown world right now, we're going to live in Piss Earth in the future. Now there are some premises of it I don't agree with, because it did come out from a source that associates itself with National Socialism. But the basic concept is that the insanity that exists today is going to give way to complete degeneracy and social decline in the future. A lot of what I have said in that sense. And the phrase it uses is that it ends the article with is something like this: people need to get used to swimming in a burning river. That is a very good description of what we're dealing with. Get used to what's around you. Get used to, these changes. Expect more, and just prepare yourselves accordingly for them. That's the smartest thing you can do.
That's kind of like the saying "to hell and back."
Yes, it is like it, and just expect it. I mean, just expect it. Don't. I tell people, don't fight it, because you're not going to win. You're trying to fight. It's like you're trying to fight a stream. You're not going to win. Just learn where the stream goes, learn how to navigate it, and learn where it's going to turn so you can be ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, Andrew, I think what you just said right there is a good place to end this discussion. And actually, I think I don't think we broke the record with me and Ted's interview, but we definitely just were able to discuss a lot. And myself personally, this was a very compelling discussion, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope my audience did too. But yeah,
I hope they do too, and I want to thank the audience for being patient with me. And like I said, my children came home a little early, so I want to appreciate everyone. Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate it very much, Sean.
And any last thing that you want to say to my viewers? Something that like with Ted, I told him that people might Google your name, they might see something from Right Wing Watch or some other anti-Christian website. Is there something that you want my audience to know about you before they decide to do that?
Yeah, go to shoebat.com. If you want to see what I think, read me in my own words. And like I said, I try not to associate with either a left side or a right side. I try to see things as objectively and as objectively and based on, like I said, a combination of historical trends as we can. Both Ted and I try to do this. It's mutual. So my recommendation is, you want to know what we think, instead of getting it from somebody else, why don't you just get it from us? You can go to shoebat.com any day. We always write for it, so everything is there.
Yeah, and exactly, shoebot.com. I think you guys also own the domain shoebot.org. So yeah, I encourage all of you guys, go check out Andrew's articles, go check out Ted's videos. He posts on the YouTube channel David Wolf, which I guess it's because they banned his actual name, didn't they? YouTube.
Yeah, they banned his name. Ted's been kicked out for years because of saying things that people don't like to hear. I give you one of the examples. We had an issue recently about a video that Ted did where he talked about the National Socialists, and he was discussing ties in it. We can talk about this another time, but there are very well-documented ties, historical ties, in National Socialist records, American records, about the union between American businessmen, Jewish businessmen, American corporations, and German corporations with and during the Third Reich. And people flagged his video for that, and thankfully it wasn't taken down, but it almost was. So, like I said, we don't view ourselves as promoting, any kind of discrimination or hatred of anybody. We just want to tell things as they are, whether it's good or bad. If it's evil, we'll expose it. If it's good, we will praise it for what it deserves to be praised or criticized in the proportion that is due to it. We try to be balanced. We're certainly not perfect, but we take our work very seriously, and we do try to do that.
But the important thing is, you guys truly do write and speak in the way the scriptures commanded all of us to do. And I think, and that's the thing, there needs to be more Andrew Bieszads, more Ted Schubots, more Waleed Schubots in this world. Because I think if they're on, and I'm not saying this because I'm just some fan who discovered you guys years ago. I'm talking about because our society is so screwed up that if there were more guys like you, it really would be in a better place than what it is.
Thank you. And like I said, we do want more of that. We want as much of it as we can get because the fact is, just the fact that we're doing it alone doesn't mean we want to have a monopoly on it. I mean, it's not as though, this is our privileged forte. Far from it. It's because, we have an obligation to say things as we see it. And if this means we have to speak this way, then that's the way we have to speak. And if more people want to come and, join in and speak about this stuff, please, do what you can. Every little bit helps. Every bit helps.
All right, that is so awesome. I mean, you guys got me doing that same thing. It's because of you guys that I started talking about this stuff on my own channel. And like you guys, I've taken the heat too. I mean, I've actually received a couple of death threats because of it. And the crazy part is I'm just average Joe YouTuber. I'm not from an organization or have that big of a platform, which I think I must be doing something right then. But regardless of that, though, Andrew and even to Ted and Waleed, I'd like to talk to Waleed eventually, but I'm sure he's probably a very busy man. But I can't thank you guys enough for being, a big influence to me and getting me to, grow a pair and actually speak against this stuff openly too, and speak my Christian faith and not be ashamed to do it.
Hey, we're all here to help each other. Yeah, we're all here to help each other. So, that's part of what we have to do. And it's, I think as St. Paul talks about encouraging each other and helping each other. This is part of it. We do what we can with what we have. And again, things don't just happen overnight. You don't just switch or have a moment where, things have all changed. But, one thing leads to the next, and then next thing you know, you look back and say, wow, that is some serious change.
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, on that note, thank you again for agreeing to do this interview with me. Again, I know my channel's not huge, like 650 subscribers, but hey, that's probably 650 people who a day ago did not know who you guys were. And thank you guys for officially being my brothers in Christ now. It really has been a big honor to talk to you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it too.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is ND Sean 45 signing out. For myself and for my guest here today, Andrew Bieszad, I say to all of you, God bless every single one of you. And even though this is not a sports video, go Irish, go Bears, go Cubs. And even though they suck this year, go Blackhawks. Thank you again, Andrew. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.